Please state the nature of the medical emergency.
Where does money come from? Well, it comes from my paycheck, the hours that I put in, obviously.
I heard you talking about Ithaca hours, and I was wondering why would you use that instead of regular U.S. currency?
One of the major reasons is to encourage people to buy local produce from local craftspeople, farmers, whatever you have, and it keeps all of the currency inside the community so that it's an economic plus for the community.
Edward Van Wessup is an assistant finance professor at the University of North Carolina.
The idea of keeping money in the community doesn't actually make a lot of sense.
Well, local businesses like it because it's a sign of their commitment to the local economy.
If people want to stimulate the local economy by spending locally, they can do it with dollars just as well as anything else.
In the wake of the economic downturn, local communities have taken note, not this kind of note, rather their own note by printing local currency.
I've always been interested in Ithaca Hours as a very creative enterprise, about a very fundamental thing, the idea that a community finds that it doesn't have enough money, so what do you do about it? Do you complain about it, or do you wait for politicians to solve the problem for you, or what do you do? Or you say, well, if we don't have enough money, well, why don't we make our own?
This concept of community currency is perfectly legal, according to the federal government, just as long as this doesn't resemble this. You still pay taxes to Uncle Sam just the same.
Please state the nature of the medical emergency.
1775, the American Revolutionary War began as the American colonies sought to detach from England and its oppressive monarchy. Though many reasons are cited for the revolution, one in particular sticks out as the prime cause: that King George III of England outlawed the interest-free, independent currency the colonies were producing and using for themselves, in turn forcing them to borrow money from the Central Bank of England at interest, immediately putting the colonies into debt. It is critical to understand that the entire structure of this system can only produce one thing in the long run: debt. The end result of this system without fail is slavery. And, as Benjamin Franklin later wrote, the refusal of King George III to allow the colonies to operate an honest money system which freed the ordinary man from the clutches of the money manipulators was probably the prime cause of the revolution. 1783, America won its independence from England. However, its battle against the central bank concept and the corrupt, greed-filled men associated with it had just begun.
Well, why don't we make our own? Well, why don't we make our own? Well, why don't we make our own?
Just tell me one thing. What were you thinking?
Please state the nature of the medical emergency.
There's only one thing that money doesn't buy. It's meaning.
95% of what makes money is money making money off of money. Money has taken on a life of its own.
Somehow assign too much power to that piece of paper, this $20 bill.
We've made money more important than human life, more important than the natural world, more important than God or spirit.
You don't want to keep money in the community. You want to trade with other communities. That's what makes everybody wealthy.
The thing that gives our money value is how much of it is in circulation. Therefore, the power to regulate the money supply is also the power to regulate its value, which is also the power to bring entire economies and societies to its knees.
Please state the nature of the... Don't bother.